Hello, everybody. Hi. Attention, please. Hi. To start off this evening of the candidates forum, if we may please all rise and do the Pledge of Allegiance. And let's pick this one in the back. There's 4 of them, so we'll pick this one. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Hello, and welcome to the 2023 Sycamore Community Schools Board of Education Candidates Forum. This event is presented by the PTO President's Council. Your leaders from each of the PTOs at Sycamore Schools. My name is Victoria Margram, and I serve as the Sycamore Junior High PTO President. While you will not hear from the other presidents this evening, know that their hard work has made this event possible. When you see them next, please thank Brian Laughlin, Sycamore High School, Christopher Johnston and Harshana Patel from the Green School, Uni Kaiser and Alex Grethaupt from Blue Ash Elementary, Amanda Middleton, Montgomery Elementary, Marie Trelka from Mapledale Elementary, and Aaron Metz from Sims Elementary. In addition to the efforts of parents, staff, and the community for the betterment of our schools, our members host a forum like this whenever there are contested seats for the Board of Education. Our goal is to bring all the candidates together at one time to answer questions and help inform voters. Our organization is nonpartisan and will not intervene on behalf of or in opposition to any candidate. This is an important election for our district. If you need more information about any of these candidates, we encourage you to reach out to them. This forum will consist of 3 parts. First, each candidate will be given 3 minutes to make an opening statement. Next, our moderator will ask the candidates a series of questions. Candidates will answer the first question in alphabetical order. Subsequent questions will be answered first by the next candidate, and Dr. Boat will pick the order to ask the questions. By rotating the order, each candidate has an equal opportunity to answer first. Collectively, the candidates have decided that 1.5 minutes will be given to answer the first question, and the 4 subsequent answers will have 1 minute to answer. Finally, each candidate will have an opportunity to give a closing statement, which will be 3 minutes. And the opening remarks, like I said, will go in alphabetical order. The closing statements will go in reverse alphabetical order. Questions for this forum have been drawn from questions submitted by different voters. Similar questions were combined, and the most common topics and concerns will be put to the candidates tonight. We are fortunate to have Dr. Mary Boat moderating our forum. Dr. Boat and her husband moved to Montgomery 22 years ago when she joined the faculty in the College of Education at the University of Cincinnati. Go Bearcats. They have raised 2 wonderful sons in this amazing community. Dr. Boat is a former special education teacher, longtime teacher educator, educational researcher, and higher education administrator. She has served more than 9 years as director for the School of Education at UC. We are very lucky to have her as our moderator. Please remember to be respectful during the forum. Thank you. I will now hand off everything to Dr. Boat. We'll begin with the opening statement. Mr. Comerford, please begin.
Thank you, Dr. Boat. Hello, my name is Brad Comerford. I want to start by thanking the PTO leaders who organized tonight's event. Having a quality candidate forum is so important for our community. And I'm grateful for all the time and energy that has been put into making this evening possible. So let me start with a little bit about me. My wife, Tammy, and I have lived in the community for 24 years. Like many, we moved to the district specifically because of Sycamore Schools. It is a destination district because of its academic excellence and the breadth of opportunities that it provides for all students. We couldn't be happier with that decision. This is why I decided to run for the school board in 2019 when my youngest daughter graduated, and again this year. I seek the opportunity to give back and serve, I believe that strong schools make strong communities, and I'm invested in both. Professionally, I have worked for Procter & Gamble for 28 years. I am currently a vice president in the Global Business Services Organization and lead the Next Generation Services and Automation COE. I have experience managing multi-million-dollar budgets and leading large organizations with objectives, goals, strategies, and measures. I bring skills in IT, finance, supply chain, purchasing, and project management, which have all proven valuable on the school board. I hold 2 degrees from Stanford University, a Bachelor of Science degree in Mechanical Engineering, and a Master of Science degree in Engineering Economic Systems. Since being elected in 2019, I have served on the board in several specific roles. I have been the board representative for the Sycamore Advisory Commission for 2 years, and I have served on both the policy and audit committees. Additionally, I was chosen by my peers to be board vice president for the past 2 years. Our 3 daughters are proud aviator alumni. Meredith graduated from Sycamore in 2013 and works as a designer for market vision research in Blue Ash. Morgan graduated from Sycamore in 2017 and is now a CPA working as a tax accountant at Grant Thornton in Rookwood. Mallory, my youngest, graduated from Sycamore in 2019 and is now a special education teacher. Dr. Boach, has that in common with you, in Greenville, South Carolina. All 3 of my daughters were exceptionally well prepared by their Sycamore education. I am so appreciative of the education that Sycamore has provided to my family. I believe in the importance of a quality education for our children and the value it brings to our community. I'm a positive person by nature, and I'm grateful to share the stage tonight with my fellow candidates. We are so very fortunate that we have 5 great candidates to choose from.
Harris?
Are we on? Before I begin, I would like to thank all the PTO presidents for their hard work in hosting this forum, and thank everyone for coming tonight and all of you people watching online. Your involvement demonstrates your commitment to making sure that you have the best possible candidates for the Board of Education. I'd like to also thank all my fellow candidates for the time that they are put into their candidacy and the quality of their character. Regardless of the outcome, all of you should be commended on your hard work. My name is Victor Harris, and I'm a candidate for the Sycamore Board of Education. This past June, I retired after teaching 33 years at Sycamore Junior High. I'm running for the board because I feel that classroom educators on our boards of education give that organization an all-encompassing view of the educational system that it manages. Educators know education, and qualified educators should serve on every board of education. They see firsthand how policies that are enacted really affect the children in our classroom. We need diverse opinions from all of our stakeholders to be effective representatives of the communities in which we serve. A little bit about myself. Most of my life experience has been shaped by teaching. I come from a family of teachers, including my mom. She taught in Columbus City School. My original career path was in law, but in college, I realized my destiny was become a classroom teacher. While attending Miami University, where I received both my master's and undergrad, I changed my career path and decided to study education. My methods professor made the fateful decision to send me to Sycamore to student teach, and I've really never left. I've been here ever since. I actually met my wife, Megan, at Sycamore after I was teaching. And after we had children, we made the decision that many of you did to move our children to Sycamore so our children could experience a Sycamore education. Everyone in my home is either a graduate of Sycamore High School. My wife is a member of the class of 1992. My son is a member of the class of 2022. And hopefully my daughter Paige will be a graduate member in the class of 2024. I'm a very proud Sycamore parent. Seen firsthand the value of a Sycamore education, and I've witnessed how teachers and staff at Sycamore have shaped and guided my children and prepared them to be successful adults. As a teacher at the junior high, I served the following capacities. I've served on various district committees, negotiations, evaluations, steering committee, safety committee. And many of you may also know me as the pie in the face guy and the dunking booth guy at the Sycamore Junior High Flight Fest. Those are the two achievements my daughter is most proud of. I think that my involvement as a Sycamore parent, teacher, and coach make me an ideal board candidate. Thank you.
Dr. James?
Good evening, everyone, and thank you, PTO President and Dr. Boat, for this evening's event. My husband Larry and I have lived in the Sycamore community for 16 years and are proud grandparents of 5 grandchildren. 4 of them are aviators, and their devoted parents are volunteers in this district, always eager to help the staff and our children. I'm extremely proud of my family. So why would I want to come out of retirement to serve on the board? The answer is simple. I am running for the board because I still care about this district. And frankly, as you heard, I have a vested interest in its continued success. In addition, I am passionate about providing high-quality education for our youth to ensure that every student is prepared for their future. I have spent most of my career dedicated to serving Sycamore School and have done so with grace, with careful and thoughtful consideration about the needs of our students, our staff, and community. I am running for the board, committed to continuing the strong financial management that currently exists, spending taxpayer dollars wisely, and seeking cost-saving measures to stretch our funds. I am running for the board because I understand the power of communication and collaboration. My unique and unparalleled experiences have prepared me well for board work. I have served this district as a teacher, a building principal, and central office administrator. In 2006, I was proud to be named the district's superintendent and remained in that role for 9 years before retiring. I am reminded of how much the community appreciated my work as I talk with former parents, students, and staff. It is humbling to be supported by so many who remember the genuine care and kindness I gave to everyone. Over the years, my experiences have allowed me to witness effective board work and to build lifetime relationships with our diverse population. One of my greatest strengths is creating an environment where people feel supported and assured that every decision I make has our students' welfare foremost in my mind. That will never change. I am ready to return to Sycamore to share my knowledge with the team. I believe that my experiences and insights will add value to the discussions and decisions that the board must make. I would be honored to serve the Sycamore family once again, this time as a board member. I look forward to sharing my thoughts with you tonight. Thank you. Espacios?
Thank you. I think I am the only colorful here tonight, so you will see me very well here. Good evening, everyone. Thank you to the PTO for organizing this event. We truly appreciate your work. And thank you for all of you that are here tonight and those of you that are joining us virtually. I am so to the 4 candidates that are joining me here tonight, because as it was said before, you all are doing wonderful work. I have the qualifications and the passion to be on the board. I care deeply for our children, our community, and our rich diversity. I believe that education is neither Democrat or Republican. I am independent. To be a great servant leader for our community. I can further. And you may have seen my signs, my yard signs, and wonder, what does that mean? S stands for safety, security, and stewardship. Deliver on core fundamentals, maintain the financial health, and use the school funds wisely. E stands for empathy. Uphold the values of our community. We need to be working together instead of creating division. There is enormous wealth of insights in our community. I will always act in the best interest of the entire community. And the final E is for excellence. Continue elevating the standards of our district. Modernize to keep the pace of the digital evolution. I will work to improve communication, accessibility, and incorporate different opinions from all stakeholders. Teachers, Sycamore students, Sycamore residents, parents, and staff. I enjoy very much speaking with people. I will leverage my experience to analyze problems and assess solutions, seeking to compromise, finding the third way. I'm a Procter executive, finance and human resources leader with a broad experience in the community and a multicultural background. I'm asking for your vote to serve you and to continue elevating the standards of our excellent school district. I have the qualifications to see and grow further. Thank you.
Dr. Pasha?
First of all, I want to thank everyone, all the PTO president, all the families sitting here, and also who are joining us online. I know that is a commitment, and I really value that one, and that's why I'm here as well. Because I'm also a parent. We raise our two kids and from Blue Ash Elementary all the way Sycamore High School. Before I go further in that one, I want to make a disclosure here. I'm an Asian American running for the first time in the history of Sycamore School District, and I have accent. So if you don't hear anything, just ask me. I want to start by thanking my mother, who's a school teacher. She served 54 years in academia. She don't raise us 6 siblings, but she also volunteer our neighbors, taught them so they can have a successful future. And I am very thankful. Among those, sister has a PhD in logistics from Norway. My brother has a PhD in IT from Paris. So education runs in our blood. And I currently teach in undergrad, grad courses in the US reputable universities. I serve on the curriculum development committee. I do serve on course evaluation committee. And I'm an international reviewer for doctoral dissertation evaluation for the candidates who are prone to graduate as a doctoral candidate. Little about myself. I'm a physician by training. I have a PhD in molecular biology. I have 2 masters, master in public health, master in health administration from University of Chicago. And I am a subject matter expert for process improvement, which is Lean Six Sigma, Black Belt certification that puts you in a different spot. And all these skills, which I am bringing, is a unique skill and a diverse skill that is needed for Sycamore to go forward. Because if we look, I currently serve on four boards, and that shows delivering commitment for 4 cities. For those people who live in Blue Ash, I do serve on the Blue Ash Board of Zoning and Arrangement. For those who live in Montgomery, I serve on their Environmental Advisory Commission Board. For those who live either on Blue Ash or Montgomery, but work in Cincinnati, I serve on City of Cincinnati Mental and Behavioral Health Board. And that's where I am bringing an integration of mental and behavioral health for our children's best outcome. Because we are living in an area where this is the real need for our children, which are getting impacted by the mental and behavioral health. Our teachers who are putting such an effort to bring them up to the speed and asking them to do whatever they want to do and bring the full potential. So I'm thankful that I'm here with all my qualified candidates. Thank you.
So please remember to speak into the microphone. I think they have to be a little closer to us perhaps. Yeah. And can we move the signal to the middle now? And I think we can, correct? Okay, so we'll leave that there and we'll begin the questions. So we'll start with Dr. James in the middle and we'll go alphabetically around and just start with each person subsequently. And first of all, I want to thank the community for these questions. I know that we can't possibly get to all of them, so we've tried to create a broad section, and they're wonderful questions. How does a school board balance ensuring high-quality education for all students and fair compensation for employees with the need to be fiscally responsible to its taxpayers?
Thank you for the question. So when you ask, how do we balance having high quality education and compensating our staff fairly? And it's something that I think Sycamore has done very well. We spend about close to 83% of our budget on salaries, staff, and benefits. That's pretty typical for an organization. And it's very important to compensate our staff well. They are phenomenal. They are our heroes. We know that it is important to be competitive with our salaries so that we are able to attract high quality staff members. And we do that. We always have people who are waiting and applying to be here in our school district. So we understand the value, the importance of providing high quality staff members. And I think we do that well. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Mendez-Palacios?
Thank you. You do that with a combination of talent and skills and the work of the board and the treasurer to work on the 5-year forecast plan for our district. The combination of having the right expertise working together to benefit and maximize the talent of the teachers and the staff in the school, together with having the right position in governance and stewardship in balancing the budgets is what enables us to be able to balance both in the right way.
Thank you. Dr. Pasha?
Thank you. I think that's a really great question. It is the combination of both operational effectiveness and efficiency is critical to lead those efforts. We need to have that defined goals for operationally and also strategically as well, looking at the needs of our kids and children and the evolving needs, how we are spending money on that one, how much responsible we are. And if we look and set up those goals, not only the yearly goals, but on monthly basis and how we are achieving them on a monthly basis, it will give us much more sustainable budget, as well as we would be in a more productive way to invest in our dollars where it has a bigger impact. Thank you.
Mr. Comerford?
Two of the most important things to most people are their children and their money, and the school board's entrusted with both. It's really important that they work hand in hand. 70% of our taxpayers do not have a child in the schools. So it's really important that we demonstrate that we're managing the money like we would our own money. If we do that well, then the operating levies will pass. If we don't do that well, then the operating levies will not pass. And that's a bad outcome for the district. You might think that has never happened before, but in 2003, I'm old enough to remember I had 2 children in the district. The district did not pass our operating levy when our operating expenses grew out of control. It's really important so that we can fund the great quality educators that we have by making sure we have the fiscal stewardship in hand.
Mr. Harris?
Our treasurer prepares a 5-year forecast. And included in that 5-year forecast is they make estimates, because that's pretty much all you can do, about how much things are going to rise. Now, we all know everything has gone up, from the cost of gas to the cost of bread. Okay. One of the things that we have to balance that with, though, that fiscal responsibility of maintaining that promise that we made to the community to be fiscally responsible, is the issue of teacher compensation. One of the things that you keep reading about in these days is a teacher shortage. Okay. Schools of education are closing down across the country because no one wants to be a teacher anymore. It's hard. It's hard to raise a family on a teacher salary in a lot of places. If we want to continue that trend of excellence that Sycamore is known for, we must make sure that within those budget constraints, that we fairly compensate teachers so we can attract talent.
Thank you. Okay, we'll begin the next question with Ms. Mendez-Palacios. Great weight has been placed on student performance on standardized tests as measures of district success. Beyond student test scores, what do you consider to be important measures or indicators of district success?
Okay, first and foremost, the scores that you are referencing on that question are only one variable of many variables of performance of our students and our district. So I have invited people to think much more broadly about this particular topic, because it is my understanding and my experience as having a child in Sycamore that our teachers do a lot more than just looking at standard scores as an evaluation of performance. They have a wide array of assets at their disposal, and they have the experience to look at kids in various ways and really work to maximize their talent. Obviously, that standardized testing is important. That is how we get scored in Ohio, but goes beyond that in the sense of the progress and the environment that we activate within our buildings to really understand and categorize with excellence, in my opinion, this school district. I came to Sycamore, obviously, because it is a great school, but I also came because of its rich diversity, because of its values, because of this community. Thank you.
Dr. Pasha?
Thank you. For me, we have been overly focusing on those testing. In addition to that one, I think interpersonal skills are really important, and we need to teach our students how to live a better life, how they can communicate. Very basic things are really needed because they have to live the way and have to be very successful in the community. They have to understand like how to better or effectively communicate. Just writing a simple email, how you can bring a product to the market, what are the strategies they have to do, and not only just focusing, because our children are not only, they have to go either in business, traditional school, vocational school. Not all are perfect for just going to the college. So we need to prepare them on their individual needs, what their individual strengths are, prepare them what's coming next to them, because that's the place where the parents are falling behind. That's where we are spending so much time thinking.
Mr. Comerford?
Thank you. Of course, I'm very proud of the results of our academic results. But on top of that, probably the most important thing, and maybe even more important, is the health and well-being of our students. Coming off the pandemic, this has been one of those things that's been critically important. One of the things we discussed as a board and put in place for the first time is a community and culture survey in January and February of this year. While it was not perfect, it was really because of the intention of understanding how is the culture and climate in our schools. That's critically important for us to understand because that's the only way we can make improvement to the process. We learned a few things that are really acute in that. The epidemic of vaping, it was very pronounced in this survey. But I will say the overall climate was positive. While there is room for improvement, it was encouraging to see the climate and culture survey results.
Mr. Harris.
In the Sycamore strategic plan, we have something called Portrait of a Graduate. Okay, and that is what a Sycamore graduate should know when they graduate from Sycamore High School. So that's a plan for their 13 years of education. Testing is important, but it's one data point. We're a great district when it comes to testing. But one of the things that we emphasize is when these kids leave is we want them to be able to graduate with skills like critical thinking, the ability to collaborate. And my favorite, since I'm a social studies teacher, is to be a respectful global citizen. These are the skills that will help them be successful in whatever they do. These are the skills that will help them in the workforce, will help them at college, will help them if they're in military service. All of those things that are post-high school. So while testing is important, I think those critical thinking, those collaboration, those global citizen skills are the true measure of a Sycamore graduate. Thank you.
James?
I too agree that standardized test results are one indicator of how we are doing, but there is so much more to take a look at. First of all, when you think about it, school districts that can attract others and because of their offerings that they are providing for our community, that's a really good indication that we are doing something well. In addition, having a strong culture of appreciation and being able to be together, work together, are also indicators of being a good school district. We have a variety of programs and opportunities for our students. It's very important. We are not just focusing on academics, but we are focusing on the whole child. So,
We'll begin the next question with Dr. Pasha. Over the last few years, we have seen a steep rise in challenging behaviors and mental health concerns in our student body. What is your plan to address not only our academic needs, this is the order, of our students, but also their social, emotional, and mental health?
Thank you. It's great because it's very dear to my heart. I currently serve on Cincinnati Mental and Behavioral Health, where we serve 90 to 95% of economically disadvantaged communities. It's very critical and important for the outcomes for our children that we have early intervention, identification of those risk behaviors of mental health needs. So the parents have ample time, so we can have early identification, intervention, rather late discovery. So by addressing those things early childhood, we are doing two more things. One, we are saving the cost for a long term, like how much the struggle the parents do. And second, we are providing them the tools to make them more successful candidates and the citizen after they graduate, and where the parents struggle when they have the children who have special needs. They graduate from school, and here I think we have to heavily invest in that one. And as a board candidate, I want to uphold that one, that I would find different ways to fund that one as well. Thank you.
Mr. Comerford?
Thank you. As mentioned before, health and well-being is critically important. One of the things I'd like to add to what we're doing at Sycamore right now is we have partners at the University of Cincinnati who come in with the specialists that are have the training to accompany our counselors to provide the assistance for the students that actually truly need it. All means all, and we say that a lot within the school district, and we need to make sure we're serving all students. And that means everyone needs to have an opportunity to be well and to learn and to grow.
We are approaching a mental health crisis in our country due to a lot of things. 1 in 5 children in the United States live with some sort of mental health issue. Suicide is now the second leading cause of death among young people ages 10 to 24. We need to include in our health education classes skills that help build resiliency, self-care techniques, and positive coping skills. Teachers and I can tell you that children will have difficulty learning and behaving if their basic needs are not met and they feel like they can't manage their feelings. Social emotional skills taught in schools are based on Ohio's social emotional learning standards in 5 competencies: self-awareness, recognizing one's emotions; self-management, managing emotions; social awareness, empathy with others; relationship skills, developing healthy relationships; and responsible decision-making, making constructive choices, considering consequences and the well-being of others.
Dr. James? Our students are human beings, social creatures who need to know how to interact with one another. For that reason, it is extremely important that our staff understand how to meet the needs of our students, their social emotional learning. The state has created a model for schools to consider. It does not tell us how to do it, but creates a model for making sure that the needs of our students are being met. As Mr. Harris mentioned, those areas are self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, relationship skills, and decision-making. Very important skills to learn. We do have in our buildings counselors, and we have assistants, I believe, from Children's Hospital, representatives from Children's Hospital to help our students as well. Thank you.
Ms. Mendez-Palacios?
Very supportive of the school's effort and investment on mental health. There were 2 pieces of information that has been already shared here previously. The first one is the theme has to do with the student-centered culture and learning, in which the Wellness Task Force to study the comprehensive student health and well-being is at the core. And second, survey, where 47% of 50% of the students in junior high and high school said that stress and anxiety is an issue and it's a concern for them. I am very supportive with the steps that the board and the staff of our school have started to take to address these issues. And as a board member, I will be very supportive on continuing acting on what I believe is core and incredibly important to the success of our school.
Next question will go first to Mr. Comerford. School districts are facing an unprecedented number of highly politicized challenges to their policies. What approach will you take in addressing such challenges? If possible, please be specific in your response. Some of the examples that came in with questions of concerns were increased banning of books and events, especially those highlighting diversity, arming teachers in our schools, and issues facing LGBTQIA+ students in our schools.
Thank you. Let me first say that thankfully we have not had any conversations while I have served on the board for the last 4 years about banning books at all. I'm not in favor of banning books. To quote Kurt Vonnegut, I hate it that Americans are taught to fear some books and ideas as though they were diseases. Really, that's fundamental to me. Now, having said that, I do think there are some books that need to be considered as age appropriate. We need to make sure that we have the right age level for the materials. I have complete confidence that the state curriculum and our staff are following those because, and if they don't, those, we should address those. I also believe that there is a state law or there's a law on the books on pornography. And there is absolutely no reason that that should not be applied in our school district.
Mr. Harris?
Now we're going. As a member of the school board, I will not be banning books. We have to trust that our teachers will assign reading material that has an academic value that is appropriate for their classroom instruction and at the appropriate level. As far as CRT has become this great boogeyman of all things bad in schools. You know, that is a high level sociological topic taught in graduate level classes at school. Teachers are required to teach the Ohio content standards. Part of those are things like slavery, Jim Crow laws, things like that, that are unpleasant to hear. But the reason why they teach those is not to make people feel bad, is to make sure we don't repeat the lessons of the past. Diversity means everybody. That means students that are LGBTQ+. It means students that have disabilities. It means students that have exceptionalities. All means all.
Dr. James? Thank you. I too am very worried about the politics that have entered into our school districts in general. It has not happened here yet. But we do need to be prepared should it happen. Specifically, in regards to banning books, I do feel that we have very highly qualified staff members who are selecting books that are age and content appropriate. And for that reason, I believe that we would not be banning books. There is a policy in place for in this district where there is a process for suggesting a book be banned. But I am not in favor of widespread banning of books because we fear something. Additionally, I feel that all of the other kinds of politics that are creeping into school districts are more Ms. Mendez-Pacios?
In my opening remarks, you heard me saying that education is neither Democrat or Republican. And that's why I'm acting as independent. The board is nonpartisan for a reason. I believe that my child has grown in Sycamore to become a person that has learned to respect and empathize with a large number of people, even if they don't look, feel, or love the way that she does. I was very proud as I was preparing for the board to read the many policies that we have in our school. I encourage all of you to do that. They are phenomenal. There's an equity policy that I was very proud to read. And it says very clearly that no one should be discriminated on the basis of race, sex, and many other things. I will not support the banning of the books. Thank you.
Dr. Pasha?
Thank you. First of all, as you know, that we can't be a physician if we don't read the book. We can't be a PhD if we don't write or read different books. So obviously, banning books is out of question in a way that we already have teachers who are spending a lot of time recommending books for our children based on their age, developing their critical thinking, what is basically needed. I currently serve on project review committee for high school, and I am glad and I'm very thankful for the teachers who are spending extra time to looking at their children's needs and recommending the books. So I enjoy that one, serving as a volunteer on that one, but at the same time, I also support like we need to have different books like where they can learn more, their capability for their full potential and explore their strengths and weaknesses on that one. And it also open up different avenue for them to go back to the teachers who are the subject matter expert to ask questions about those ones. And whenever someone asks me, hey, about this article? So, thank you.
Thank you. Start with Mr. Harris. We have seen a mass exodus of staff across the district in the last 3 years. What do you believe is the root cause of so many experienced staff leaving our district? What key change or changes would you like to see implemented to stop this trend?
COVID was a disaster for lots and lots of people in many, many ways. That drove a lot of teachers over the edge. The burdens, the stress of both teaching online or teaching hybrid classes or things like that, while maintaining some function of a home life and in some cases educating your children at home. That drove a lot of teacher out. This is happening everywhere. People are leaving the profession. One is I think compensation. A lot of people leave because it's hard living in communities like this on a teacher salary, especially if you're the sole breadwinner for your family. It's difficult. So many people take the skills they learn from education and move those on to business where they will be compensated just a little bit more. I think too, one of the things that his job as a school board member is to govern the district and not manage the district. So in other words, we need to let the people in those classrooms trust them, give them the power to do their jobs. Try not to put so much more on their plate. Try not to come up with a new initiative every year that stresses the people out and keep them in their classroom. Teachers teach because they love children. That's why they do that job. That's why I did that job for 34 years and I'm still doing it now, is because I love children. I love being around children. But we've got to make teaching, the job of teaching, a little bit easier. Thank you.
Dr. James? Teaching is a hard profession. There are many teachers who have become disenfranchised, unhappy with where they are because it is such a hard job. COVID did not help. People were having to work at home, from home, were fearful of what would happen to them if they came into school. It's a lot. Nowadays, there are a lot of mandates that are coming down from the state. While the district is trying to create programs and professional training opportunities for their staff to do the things that we feel need to happen for our students, we are also having to add on to the plate professional development and training because of mandates that are being sent our way. It's a lot.
Ms. Mendez-Pacios?
Let me just invite us all to think about this a little different. Why are teachers leaving? I think that we need to understand the problem much deeper versus jumping immediately into conclusions. So all organizations, we have seen a mass exodus of employees. Organization that experienced the same thing. But we are taking the time to understand why. We know that employees, in this case, teachers, should be valued for the work that they do. Are they being recognized for the work that they are doing? They need to be inspired. How are we inspiring them? They need to be trained. You heard Mr. Harris and Dr. James speaking about the many things that are coming their way. What are we doing to train them?
Dr. Pasha?
I think that's really important and I'm very concerned on that one as well. Because if we don't have talented teachers in the school district, I think we are putting our children education at risk as well. So I have a bigger heart for my teachers and how we can invest in them and also how we are developing their skills. We need to have workshops where they can talk about best practices, We need to have their mental and health, wellness, well-being, that who they should talk to if they are in that situation. I know we are focusing on the children, but we also have to think them as a human being as well. They have their lives, they have their own children, they are parents, they are working, and they are going extra mile for our children's success. So I think we need to think about that one, the reason behind it, and how we can address it. We need to put certain KPIs as a school district around that one and make sure we have the higher retention rate in our school district for the continuous growth of our school system. Thank you.
Mr. Comerford.
Thank you. I actually appreciate all of your comments on this one. The health and well-being is not just for the students, it's also for the teachers. This conversation and the reference to COVID reminded me of the time back in July of 2020, when we were having a long conversation on the school board about giving choices to families and children on going back to school. And then it became acutely aware that we weren't talking about the choices that we should be giving to our teachers. And so I'm proud that while on the board, we raised that topic. I specifically raised that topic saying that we should be giving our teachers the same choice that we're giving our families. And we actually funded, unique in all of Ohio, a program where our teachers could teach from a specific building where they could have support to teach remotely, because teachers were struggling with the health. Everyone had specific health challenges. And just like we give families the choice to be in class or be in the room, wanted to give it to the teachers.
I believe we're back to Dr. James. Educators, but they are advocates for their children. How much influence should parents have on school decision?
We cannot do this job alone, so it is important for our parents to be involved in helping to educate our students. I do believe that parents need to understand how they can help their students, which means being able to be in contact with the teacher, finding out what needs to be taught, etc. When you ask, should parents have choice and be involved in the curriculum that the teachers are teaching, I really believe we need to leave those choices up to the professionals. We have spent a lot of time searching and researching the factors that are very important for our students to learn. So I do believe that there are parents who would like to have more choice in their schools, and that's okay. Choice for their child is different from making a choice for all children in the classroom.
Been very involved in the school over the years. As a parent, I think that opportunity that was given to me to be closer to my child is something that I will be forever grateful. But I also did it with respect of who had the expertise in the class and in the building. I never questioned a teacher curriculum or the teacher way of teaching my kid, because they know better than I do. When I was given the opportunity to respond to a survey or to participate in the school, there I was. I coached, I did the cultural nights, I did everything that I could. I think parents should be involved in the school, but should, as they do that, respect the expertise of teaching that resides within the school.
Dr. Pasha?
I think teachers play a really instrumental role in the growth and development of our children across the school districts, not only in Sycamore, but across nations. And I think it's a collaborative effort between the parents and the teacher to understand the needs and what the gaps are. So we have to close those underlying opportunity and growth gaps by working collaboratively. I know that both sides, when I look at the teachers, they are overwhelmed. When I look down to the counselor, they are overwhelmed. We have so many single parenting happening in the district. So there are a lot of mental and behavioral health issues that's going on, which are impacting on the children's side also, as well as on the teacher side. But I believe in the collaborative and team effort. And I think no single person can do or achieve those goals individually. And we have to come up together to devise an individual support plan for our children that make them more successful, not inside the school, but outside the school as well, where they can enrich their lives as.
Mr. Comerford?
Thank you. I have a huge amount of respect for all teachers, but specifically for the teachers at Sycamore. I think they do their job exceedingly well. In this particular case, I do think that parents should have some say on specific topics. And I want to use one specific that's on the state law book, just as an example. Per Ohio Revised Code, ORC 33136011, venereal and disease and sex education is abstinence-based. But upon parent and guardian request, a student may be excused from that education. I think this is a classic example of where, and you may or may not agree with that law, but it's important that the parents have input on what their children are being taught at the end of the day.
Mr. Harris?
As a teacher and a parent, this is a unique question for me because my children went to the schools where I taught in. Poor children, I felt bad for them. I think it needs to be a collaborative effort of all people that are involved. Your teachers, your administrators, and your parents. There is some parent choice. The sex education law is a prime example of that, where parents can choose to opt their kids out of sex education. That's very important. That's a choice that parents can make. I think they need to be educated when making that choice, just like anything else. I think in school, teachers, we try to be the experts in our fields. We get training in pedagogy. We get training in mental health to some extent. We know children, okay? It's our job. I've taught 12 and 13-year-olds for 33 years. They're interesting. That's a nice word, okay? But I think parents should have some opinions. Be active in your school. Participate on boards, those kinds of things.
I'm back. Yes, back to Ms. Passios. What do you envision championing to maintain or change related to Sycamore's current support services and accommodations for children with disabilities?
I believe you should never be satisfied with what you have in your facilities and your school for children with disabilities. Our school is known by everyone in Cincinnati for being one of the first school districts in understanding and serving children with disabilities. Have we done everything that we can do for them? I don't think so. I believe that the state of Ohio and very well too. And as a school district, we receive funds particularly to aid children with disabilities. Within the master facilities plan, children with disabilities and opportunity for all of them was crafted as part of the design. And that will continue to happen. I hear concerns relative to the number of teachers aiding children with disabilities. Do we have enough? Are we doing everything that we can for them? That I believe will be and it is and will continue to be a centered piece of conversation in the board. Thank you.
Dr. Pasha?
I think I'll go with 3 C's: care, compassion, and also looking into the creating opportunities. So these are the 3 major areas that we need to focus when we have to address the children with disability, because they have the unique needs, and every individualized children have their own disability needs that we need to address clinically, socially, emotionally, as well as, so it cannot be a burden for their parents. And that's what, when I gave example before, we need to identify those needs early in the childhood. And we have to bring the intervention early in the childhood so the parents have ample time in a structured environment in our school system so they can prepare them when they graduate. And then it is very minor things like how or what type of chair they need. Where is that chair is causing pain to them? Can they would be comfortable? It's very basic because sometimes we have involuntary movements of the body parts, right? So some children have different skills. So we have to come up and our special education.
Mr. Comerford?
My daughter is in her first year of special education teaching. And so in my conversations with her, this has been a topic near and dear to my heart. She chose to go to school at Clemson University specifically because of their special education program. They have a title called Learning is for Everyone. And that really resonated with me. Everyone should be having the capability to learn and grow. I'm really proud to say that on my time in Sycamore School Board, and I've looked up for the last 12 years, this school board has approved every request for special education funding. We are a destination district for special education families, and I'm proud of that.
Mr. Harris?
The reason why many of us moved to Sycamore was because of the diverse student populations. And people tend to think of diverse and they think of different cultures and they think of different religions, but it also thinks of children with different abilities. Okay. I think that diversity is what makes our district a great district. We have a district equity policy that states that students have the right to be in an environment that they will not be discriminated against based on their differences. We have a moral and legal obligation to educate all students to the best of their abilities. Now, here's what that thing means. Diversity means that we're just different, and that's okay. Inclusion means everyone is welcome here. And equity means that what one person needs to be successful or feel welcome is different from what another person might need. Those are the things that we need to think about when we educate our children. If it's simple as a convenient entrance for kids to enter schools.
Dr. James?
I am proud of how the district has handled students who have disabilities, but we can always do better. Our facilities are well equipped to help students be mobile in the schools. We are inclusive and inviting to our students. And it's very important that our parents sit with administration to talk about the disabilities and the needs of their child. All of these disabilities are very specific and need to be addressed individually.
Thank you. I think we have enough time for exactly 2 more questions. So start with Dr. Pasha. Do you feel it's important for the instructional staff to be representative of the student body? And why or why not?
I think there are pros and cons on those ones. If this is unbiased, I would definitely support that one. I think we as individuals have some biases, but if we can go on that aspect of unbiases, I think it establish a trust between the instruction and the teachers, as well as the student body as well. But I think we have to set the goals and limitations, and we don't see that as someone get benefited out of those, I would say, interactions. And I think we need to unite the people around the children's success in particular. And that's where we need to focus on that one, and bring the positive environment for the growth of our children as well as our school district. Thank you.
Mr. Comerford?
Studies are very clear that students learn best when they have someone who looks like them teaching them. That's super clear. We have classical training in this at P&G. I have been talking with our superintendent about the disparity that we have. We have a very rich diversity within our student population, and it's not matched in our administration or within our staff and our teachers. The first step is understanding the situation and understanding if it's getting better or getting worse. This is not about setting quotas, but this is about looking at both the attraction and the retention of our staff that looks like our student body.
Thank you. Mr. Harris.
I think it's extremely important that our staff looks like our student body. But again, that's not something that's easy. It's easy to say, it's very hard to do. I've been involved in committees here at the district that go out and search for teachers of different colors and things like that. And it's hard to find, but it's something that we can't stop trying to do. Okay. Someone once said, I never knew what I could be until I saw someone who looked like me do that. And that's important for all of our kids to see.
Dr. James.
I do believe that is extremely important for our students to be able to see their instructors who look like them. Extremely important. Data does show that students do progress better when they see that there is someone who looks like them in the building. Doesn't have to be necessarily their teacher, but to see representation in the building. It is a form of respect to our student body to search for staff members who represent a variety of religions, race, cultures.
Ms. Mendez Pacios.
Thank you. I would say it definitely yes. And not only for the instructional staff, but also our board. We need a board that also represents our student body. The numbers, 13% are Asian, 80% are Black, 7.5% are Hispanic. We don't have that representation in our instructional staff and in our board. That's why you are seeing so many multicultural candidates here standing in front of you. We need that representation. Our company, as Brad mentioned, is heavily working on this. Other candidates said the same thing. It's not easy, but that doesn't mean it shouldn't get done.
Thank you. Okay, this will be our final question and we'll start with Mr. Comerford. What do you see as the major issue or issues facing our school district and public education in general?
As I've been canvassing during this election, the single biggest question I'm getting is, with inflation going on, what are you as a school board going to do to my taxes? 70% of our population does not have a student in this district. So why is that important to our school district, and why is it important for our staff? If we do not have the support of the community, we cannot pass the tax levy. And that's fundamentally part of what we have to manage the funds that we have been given and trusted by the district to make sure that we provide our outstanding staff the resources that they need to make a wage and to make have the facilities and the resources in the classroom to do what the magic that they do so well. I mentioned before what happened in 2003 when our operating expenses got out of control. What I didn't have the chance to say at that point in time was the outcome of that. The outcome of that was there was a 10% cut overall. We lost foreign language in the high school, and the classroom size went up by 5 people on average. So when I say this is important, I mean it's important because it affects everyone involved. It affects the students and the teachers.
Mr. Harris?
School funding is going to be a major concern for our district and every school district in the state of Ohio. 20 years ago, the Supreme Court ruled that Ohio's school funding system was unconstitutional. 20 years ago, no changes have been made. Every school district is going to face this dilemma in the coming years. Everything's going up. Buildings need to be repaired. Books need to be bought. Technology needs to be improved. All those things are issues that school districts have to face. All school districts are going to have to figure out ways, okay, to successfully manage their budgets, to keep on that cutting edge and to maintain the excellence that each and every school district wants. People move here and we have to reinforce with people in our community, the 70% that Mr. Comerford said that don't have children in our schools, that the reason the property values and their houses are worth so much money is because of the schools that they're located in.
Dr. James.
I have had an opportunity to speak to a lot of our constituents, and funding is critical in their consideration. They are fearful that their property values have increased and that they will be asked to spend more money on their schools. Now, there has been some movement in trying to supply a more fair funding law for our school districts. We now receive $811 per student from the state. Private schools receive $955 per student. There's some inequity there. So we will need to be very forceful in our advocacy with our legislators.
Ms. Mendez Pacios.
I will not repeat what other candidates have said about funding. I have also heard that. I will add two other major challenges. The first one is digital. If any of you are living in a world where traditional learning or the way of doing your jobs is the same that you were doing 10 years ago, I don't know, where are you? Education needs to evolve, and we need to be at the pace of the world. Modernizing our schools and modernizing education, I see as a big, big challenge. The second one is keep politics out of the classroom. I think that is incredibly important. It's distracting and it shouldn't belong on education.
Dr. Pasha.
I feel what the other fellow candidates said, I agree with them. But for me, I think we have to focus more on mental and behavioral health because social media has so much negative impact currently to our children, and which direction we are going. It is not creating a negative impact on our children, but also on the families. So we have to be prepared. We cannot be reactive. We have to be proactive. And what resources we have to bring in to address those risks as well. The second important piece which I want to say is that we need to also look into the teacher retentions. Like we should have talented teachers that we should retain who can develop our skills. Also, we have to look into the teachers who are overwhelmed. We have to look on the counselors who are overwhelmed because I want to see a Sycamore school district, excellent school district. I want to see the whole school as an excellent school where the people go.
So I think now we'll move on to our closing statements. Each candidate will have 3 minutes, and I think we'll need to move the, I don't know what you call that, down to Dr. Basha. Yeah, and we'll go in reverse alphabetical order.
Should I start? Well, thank you everyone to be here to listen to our passion. And thank you for all the qualified candidates. You have an opportunity to learn from them firsthand. And I also thanks all the families who are sitting late night, taking time from their children and listening to our talk, because all of you are committed for the success of our school district, for our children, for our families. And I think that raised the bar for our school districts as well. So here is my closing statement for you that I am known as an old-fashioned doctor that walk in your neighborhood and come to your door to deliver. I don't show up in your mailboxes. I don't end up in your yard signs because I want to have established one-to-one connection with all of you. Because I know that as a physician, as a doctoral degree in advanced sciences, and as a person on a day-to-day basis addressing the mental and behavioral health issues, I have a unique skills to deliver success to this school district. And I raise the bar on every day. And I teach my students, if there is one thing you want to do in your life, just get up, wake up with one goal in your life. Do something, one thing per day that make a difference in other people's life, and then you can sleep like a baby. I think it makes a lot of difference for all of us to work toward the success of our children, for a community. Take the politics out of that one. We are all here as a family. We moved here as a family. We want to grow together and we want to see the success of our children together. We want to be a grandparents in this area together, and we want them to bring more businesses in this area together. And I think this is the all commitment you all have shown here by being present here, listening all of us. And if you look at my school board platform, I already give you a very cost-effective, reasonable platform that how we can raise the school bar. It says CARES. It tells you all the detail. It is on the back of my flyer. And I'm open to ask and dive deep with all of you individually if you want to learn more about it. I called it a roadmap for the continuous improvement of our school districts. And I can assure you that we would be the Sycamore School District of Excellence. Thank you.
Ms. Mendez Pacios?
This evening, you were able to see the differences of 5 candidates to the board. Please let me encourage you to assess us by looking at the skills, our qualifications, and what we bring each of us to strengthen the Sycamore School District. Please assess who can create an atmosphere where we build trust with one another and with our community, and who is able to recognize the value of each and everyone working in our school. A good board member possesses strong problem-solving skills and fully complies with the board's legal responsibilities. I have solving very complex problems, and you can rely on me to use the school funds wisely. I have done this for 25 years of my career. Over my long career, I have had many jobs with stewardship responsibilities, and I know how to think strategically in the short and also in the long term. The board has no administrative function. It enables the superintendent and the treasurer. I will drive accountability. I have many years of business and board experience in various community leadership positions. I graduated from Leadership of Cincinnati, class 42, and I am on the board of trustees of Cincinnati Shakespeare Company. I have been very involved in the community over many years. I will be always interested in obtaining facts, and I know that the reputation of the entire school district is reflected on my behaviors and attitudes. In closing, I am recognized for leadership and empathy. I promise you, people like me. I am a Procter & Gamble executive, a finance and human resources leader with a broad experience in the community, and will represent the rich diversity of our community. I have the qualifications to see and grow further. Thank you.
Dr. James?
Thank you for this evening. I have appreciated the opportunity to share my perspective on issues that concern our community. I will continue to reflect on these questions, knowing how important they are to you. I am keenly aware of the ever-growing distractions and challenges facing school boards and school systems today, and the need for boards to remain steadfast and focused on helping our schools and our community to remain vibrant and desirable. This will undoubtedly be very hard work, Nevertheless, I would like to be part of the team responsible for making good things happen for our district. I will do my part to lead with passion, dignity, and grace. I stand for your children and for this district. For these reasons, I ask for your vote to serve on the Sycamore Board of Education. Thank you.
Mr. Harris?
Every candidate up here tonight has talked in porches and living rooms, maybe the occasional bar about. And now we're here at Sycamore High School. We've made statements and given opinions about why each and every one of us would be the best choice to represent you on the school board. Now it's your turn. Time for the community to decide who they would like to represent them on the Board of Education. This is a tremendously important decision that will affect our community from this day forward. You want a person who values empowerment of all stakeholders, teachers, students, parents, and community members. You want a person who values transparency and collaboration in making decisions, putting into effect policies that are student-centered and in the best interest of the entire Sycamore community. Does the community want a board member who prioritizes creating and maintaining a culture of success for all students and teachers that values their differences while working towards common goals and objectives? Does the community want someone who recognizes that strong schools are the linchpin of strong communities and wants to continue and grow the Sycamore tradition of excellent schools? If the answer is yes to these questions, then you should vote for me for the Sycamore Board of Education. A vote for me is a vote for an educator who cares about putting policies in place that will help ensure the success of our district. A vote for me is for someone who will represent all stakeholders in our school community. Thank you for your time and thank you for listening.
Mr. Comerford?
Thank you again to the PTO leaders who organized tonight's event. And thank you to everyone who has invested their time to listen to us tonight. I would also like to thank my fellow candidates for their investment in this campaign. Having good candidates to choose from is a good thing for our district. As I mentioned before, people entrust a school board with two things they value greatly: their children and their money. Diane Adamak shared this quote with me 4 years ago, and it rings as true for me today as it did then. For the past 4 years, my priority has been to serve our district to the best of my ability, always remembering what I have been entrusted to care for and oversee. I bring a much needed skill set to the board: strong financial acumen, coupled with 4 years of proven board experience. Sycamore has over 800 employees with a nearly $100 million of annual operating expenses and has been managing capital expenditures of $127.5 million for the master facility plan over the past 4 years. I can leverage 28 years of P&G management experience to ensure the continued responsible use of these dollars. I also bring the experience of working with the state auditor on Sycamore's 2021 and 2022 audits. Last year, Sycamore earned the Ohio Auditor of State Award with distinction, which is the top honor that a district can receive from the state auditor. This is a direct reflection of the fantastic leadership of Beth Weber and her entire team, and I was truly appreciative to partner with them on this work. In simplest terms, my objective is to ensure Sycamore has the resources needed to best serve our students and our staff, and that Sycamore continues to deliver the standard of excellence that our community expects. I have demonstrated that I build bridges. Trust, transparency, communication, and collaboration are reflective of my character. My peers on the board have described me as a critical thinker, an active listener, and a consensus builder. Net, I bring a proven track record. I am proud that while I have served on the board, Sycamore has received a 5-star ranking on the Ohio Department of Education for the past 2 years. This has been a true team effort from students, teachers, staff, administration, and the district office. In closing, I'm so appreciative of the education that Sycamore has provided to my family. I believe in the importance of a quality education for our children and the value it brings to our community. I'm seeking re-election so that I continue to give back and serve, and I would sincerely value and appreciate your support.
On behalf of myself and my fellow presidents, PTO presidents, I would like to thank Christian Long and Christopher Johnson up there for handling our tech this evening. Never know about technology. I'd like to thank Dr. Boat for moderating our forum. And definitely all of the candidates. Attending here in person and online. The high school does ask that after the forum, no one goes through the building to see the new additions. Pass that on. So have a good evening and please don't forget to vote. Thank you.